What's going on, you legends? This is Madden 22, so I decided to do something different with this video. So, if Madden had to redraft everyone, where would they go? Could we see Tom Brady back on the Patriots? Could we see Rodgers back on the Packers? Could we see some young stars on a decent team with solid wideouts in a defense, or vice versa, or a solid defense with an okay offense? So I decided to do a fantasy draft and start by drafting random players, and the Green Bay Packers got the first pick. I have never gotten the first pick. However, I am not gonna pick. I'm gonna skip ahead into the draft, and we're gonna advance to the end of the draft. To be honest, I have never gotten the first pick ever. I've done multiple attempts at this just for fun, like in my free time when I'm just bored, just to see what it would like with teams, like if how they get changed up and everything. And I've never gotten the first pick. I usually get about 20 to 30 range. I think the lowest I ever gotten was the 10th pick, and that's been it. But obviously, I'm selecting my team that way, and yeah. I have another video idea for Madden 22. I thought about doing my fantasy football league team as a team and see how far they can go. We are in, week 5 right now of the regular season, so it's kind of delayed, but I had a trade offer go through, so that's why I was putting it off, and I have to add them to my team. So we'll simulate one season, see who wins the Super Bowl with their new respected teams. I should have started out as one of the top teams, to be honest. But it's alright. So go to our NFL rosters. As you can see, Patrick Mahomes is on Green Bay. Start with the Chicago Bears. Khalil Mack stayed in Chicago with Lamar Jackson and DK Metcalf. And they also have Wyatt Teller at right guard. I'm not going to read everyone's name, but actually I'll do it this way. So there's your quarterbacks. Kenyon Drake's their running back. Funchess is their number 2 target. Max Williams is the tight end with Cole Kmet. Orlando Brown. I'm just going to skim through this. Like, if they're a big name player, I'll read them off. But I may not do this, actually. Instead, what I'll do is I'll just stick to the roster and just read the top, whatever, like 7 people, 8 people, whatever this is, on the screen. So the Bengals, with their first pick, they took Levante David and also got Ronnie Stanley, along with Daniil Hunter, DJ Moore, Joe Thuney, Jonathan Taylor, Linval Joseph, and CJ Mosley. That looks like it'd be a really good defensive team and a decent offensive line. The Bills, they got J.J. Watt, Roquan Smith, Dak Prescott, Justin Jefferson, Chris Harris Jr., David Montgomery, Brian Murphy Jr. They got 2 solid corners, decent QB with a running back in there, and a wide receiver in that. So Bills could be a good team. You got Travis Kelce as a tight end for the Broncos as their first pick. You got Tom Brady in there throwing to Kelce. Von Miller went back to Denver. Mike Evans followed Brady to Denver. So did Barkley. And then we got Taylor Monton and Jason Pierre-Paul, who also plays with Brady. Well, Buccaneers players, but Denver has a really good team with 590 overall so far. I think that's the most so far. Cleveland Browns, like Myles Garrett went back to Cleveland with Denzel Ward going back there. Got Stephon Tuitt, Adrian Amos, Casey Hayward Jr., Chris Godwin, and Austin Hooper, who is returning back to Cleveland as well. For Tampa Bay, D-Hop went there. Chandler Jones, my bad. DeForest Buckner, Harrison Smith, Trent Brown, Andrew Whitworth and Hassan Reddick. That is a good defensive team so far, it looks like. For Arizona, you got Kamara in the backfield with Devin McGordy and Jamal Adams being your safeties with Zadarius Smith, Mark Ingram, the third, Ndamukong Suh, and Desmond King. Ooh, that's all defense in the first 6. For the Chargers, you got T.J. Watt, Ali Marpet, Odell, T.J. Hawkinson, Bradley Chubb, Sterling Shepard, and Grover Stewart. Not as dominant as the previous teams that we've seen. For Kansas City, you got Stephon Diggs, Trent Williams, Mark Andrews, Grady Jarrett, Jackson III, Kendall Fuller, and they went with a punter. They have an 84 punter. Wow. George Kittle's on the Colts with Amari Cooper, Aaron Jones there too. That's a decent trio right there. I wonder who their quarterback is. We'll take a look. Oh, with Jimmy Garoppolo. So, kind of iffy on that, but George Kittle and Jimmy Garoppolo are teammates again. So, for Dallas, Justin Tucker. They better not drafted a kicker. I'm just saying, first round. But Keenan Allen, Jesse Bates, Brandon Brooks, Demarcus Lawrence going back there. Cole Beasley, he used to be a Cowboy. Dolphins, Xavier Howard's back in Miami with Joe Mixon, Shaq Barrett. Smith Schuster's there. Not really the greatest team, only 190. Fletcher Cox went back to the Eagles with Chris Jones, so that's a really good D front right there. With Lockett, Lane Johnson went back there, Marcus Peters, Calvin Ridley, and Jimmy Johnson III, I would say. Or maybe. I was right, John Johnson. Julio Jones back in Atlanta. Hasn't played once. Well, I mean, he has played one snap in Tennessee, but saying he didn't. And then you got Tre'Davious White. So you got a star wideout and a lockdown corner with Elkton Jenkins, Deion Jones, Robert Woods, Melvin Gordon. You have Derek Carr's your QB, which isn't bad. For Washington football team, they have Wilson, Tyrone Smith, Terry McLaurin, who's back in Washington and still. Vladimir Bulaga. Yeah, a decent O-line. 2 good tackles and Lindier as your center. That's a decent O-line. For the Niners, Budda Baker is only 90-plus overall. But you got Darius Slay and Bryce Callahan at your corners and Jimmy Ward to help at the safety spot. Is this Debo Samuel? Yep. Debo Samuel back on the Niners roster. You got Darren Waller on the Giants with Joey Bosa, Allen Robinson. They took Jason Sanders and Jack Fox. That's sad when you have two special team players in your top 6 list. For the Jaguars, you have 3 90-plus overalls with Zach Martin, Stephon Gilmore, and Michael Pierce. With Kevin Byard, Joel Manito, and Kareem Hunt with Brandon Cooks. With their QB being Kyler Murray. For the Jets, you have Nick Bosa, Brandon Burns, Ryan Kelly, Shaq Mason, Shaquille Griffith, Stafford, and Kenny Galladay. I think Kenny Galladay and Stafford used to play on the Lions together. Lions, speaking of them, you have Nick Chubb, Michael Thomas, Rob Gronkowski, Minkah Fitzpatrick, Byron Jones, Devin White, Curtis Samuel, Rashawn Gary. Dude. And their QB is Carson Wentz. That's a good team. Maybe Carson Wentz will have a good year with this team. Who knows? And for my Green Bay Packers, they took Patrick Mahomes first overall with Tyrann Mathieu as strong safety, Terron Armstead as the left tackle, Ryan Jensen as a center, J.C. Jackson, Alex Mack. They have 2 centers on the team. Quinnen Williams, Tyler Boyd, Mike Gesicki, Jared Cook, T.Y. Hilton, Emmanuel Sanders. Dude, this team looks really good. 2. We're getting the first pick. Panthers with Ramsey, Kendricks, Worths, Eddie Jackson. It's not Antonio, it's AJ. Fant and John Brown. Aren't these... I think they're cousins. AJ... No, it's not. It's John and Marquise, I think. One of them's cousins, I'm pretty sure. Maybe they all are. I don't know. Patriots, you have Derrick Henry, Wagner, and Simmons. With Hunter Henry, Kareem Jackson, Will Fuller, Bradley Roby. And your QB is, rookie, or not rookie, first year experience, but still considered a rookie. He hasn't really played a snap. With Jordan Love at the QB. They're going to probably rely on the running game anyways. For the Raiders, they have Aaron Rodgers, Vita Vea, Miles Jack, Brett Kern, Jadeveon Clowney, Carl Lawson. Team not looking really good. I wonder who their running back would be. James Conner, who's their one target. CeeDee Lamb, okay, kind of not really that good of a team, but you have Rodgers. Rams, you had Adams, Dalvin Cook, Ragnow, Sheriff, Bowles. That's a good line. If you had a good right tackle, would be better, but your QB for them is Jared Goff going back there. For the Ravens, you got Jair, Calais Campbell, Kenny Clark, and Akeem Hicks. Dude, that's a big body front right there. You got Lyle Collins, Adam Thielen, Robbie Anderson, with your QB being Tua. Got Fred Warner, Marlon Humphrey, Cognito, Tunsil, Armstead, Simmons, actually, and then Mike Williams with their QB being a rookie, Justin Fields. First rookie I've seen on the team, I think. I mean, I've skipped a couple teams with their QB, sorry. Then you got Aaron Donald on the Seahawks with Darius Leonard. That's a good duo. Got Corey Lindsey with Mayfield, James Robinson. I wonder who their target would be for a wideout. Jamar Chase, a rookie wideout. So they're taking a chance with that. For Pittsburgh, you got Quentin Nelson, Rodney Hudson, Derwin James, Josh Jacobs, Ryan Tannehill, Maine Verrett. Whoops, I did not want to do that. I wanted to go back here. So for Houston, you have Cam Jordan, Watson back. He hasn't left, but he's still there. Zeke, Johnny Hecker, Evans, Mostert, A.C. Jackson. For the Titans, you have David Bakhtiari. I turned off injuries, by the way, so no one should get hurt throughout this. And turn off pre-existing injuries. Cameron Hayward, Kendall Fuller, Josh Allen as your QB, and Jonathan Allen, your DT, Micah Hyde, Chris Carson, and Sutton. For Minnesota, you have McCaffrey, Kelsey, Davis, Kupp, Young, Williams, Landry, and your QB would be Teddy B. So that's all the teams right now. Anyone shocking in the free agency that did not go? We'll take a quick look, and then I'm going to simulate a season, just one season. Oops, nope, I did it wrong. My bad. What didn't go far enough? I mean, these are running backs and kickers. They'll all get signed because not everyone has one. Like any surprising QBs, Big Ben not on a team. That's kind of shocking, but he's old. But Tom Brady is too. But he's Tom Brady. Nothing really here because most of these guys are in the free agencies anyways. Sean Jackson, Randall Cobb. I mean, some of these guys are just because of their age, but that's the only reason. No, I don't think so. I don't think there's much here. Like, I'm not seeing like an 80 overall or something being on the team unless they're old. Like Everson Griffin, I'm kind of shocked he wasn't any of these 74, 76 guys. Cameron Wake is just his age. I don't think there's anyone really going to be shocking. Patrick Peterson, he's only 31. He's not on the team. Josh Norman's not. Janoris Jenkins, Buster Skrine, or Screen. No, not really. So, we will simulate a season. One season. We'll simulate to the midpoint and see how teams are doing. See what their standings are. See if anyone's undefeated or not, basically. My prediction, based off of the teams, not because of who I like in that, but like based off how their team look. I think Green Bay's team looked really good. Not even being biased about it, they had a really good team. It was one of the teams at the beginning. Who was it now? The Broncos for the AFC. They had a really good team that they drafted. Like if you get, I don't know if they're the one that had the 6 or 7 90+ overalls on the team, but if you have that many, then you know you drafted really good. And if you only got 1 or 2, most likely you had the worst picks. You had the ending picks. So, yeah, it kind of would suck. But the Chiefs are 6-1. They lead all NFL. The Seahawks are 5-2. Buccaneers 5-2. Dolphins 5-2. Raiders, Packers, Cardinals are all 5-2. You got 4-2 teams based off a bye, some 4-3. Any team that's shocking. The Broncos right here, they're 3-4. Everyone has a win so far. The Eagles, Rams, Niners have the worst record out of them all. Let's go back and look at that Chiefs team real quick. I totally forgot. I mean, you guys can go back and look in the video and see, but I totally forgot who's on that Chiefs team. And we'll look at stats at the end of the season. Oh, they have Stephon Diggs. Oh, yeah, this was the team that had a really good defense. Who's their QB? Justin Herbert is a QB, so that was a team that had a really good defense. And the Packers played the Chiefs after the Cardinals anyway, so we'll see how that matchup would go, too, hopefully. So far, my predictions aren't right. Well, I mean, Green Bay probably is. That Seahawks are 5-2, so are the Cardinals. Like, they're kind of all tied for first. Broncos team was kind of shocking. I think it was the Broncos. I should have checked. Yeah, we'll check at the end and see who makes playoffs and doesn't. Maybe it was the Chiefs. I don't know. One team had like 5 or 6 90+ overalls on the roster. I could have swore. But maybe it was the Chiefs. But no, then the next guy was an 89. So they wouldn't regress because I have that off where you don't regress, so you stay the same overall. So you don't get like a +5 boost because you're having a big year. I mean, I guess I could have left it on, but that kind of would ruin my experience for this because then that team would become a super team. Oh. Okay. Vikings showed up and went 10-7. Green Bay went 10-7 in this division. So teams that made playoffs. Oh. Green Bay did not. They gave it to Minnesota. Okay. Interesting. So Seattle was the one. Panthers, Cowboys, Minnesota. And you got the Cardinals, Buccaneers, and Falcons. You got 3 NFC South teams in that. That's surprising. And the only team that didn't make it from the AFC West, is the Broncos. But you have the Chiefs, Titans, Bills, Ravens, Titans, Raiders, and Chargers. All right. Kind of shocked with some teams. Green Bay did not make it like I thought they were. To be honest, their team didn't look bad. With Patrick Mahomes as your QB, you figured you should make it, but Yeah, this team was a good team. So, I'm curious, was this the team I was thinking of, or was it a different team? No, it was them. They had 590-plus overalls. This was a team that kind of shocked me, especially with Tom Brady being your QB, and Saquon being your running back, and you had Mike Evans and Kelsey to throw to. But maybe it was just their defense didn't hold up on the end. Anyways, we'll check our season rewards for everyone, where everyone stood. We'll just go to all NFL. I won't go through individual stats. Also, Justin Herbert led with the Chiefs. Burrow, Ryan Fitzpatrick, Rodgers, Mac Jones, Ryan Tannehill, and Fields. Holy crap! Herbert with 55 touchdowns. He's winning MVP. You already know it. Mahomes threw 44. Most picks was Justin Fields with Kyler Murray behind him. Best completion percentage, well, it's going to be all those guys. The most yards in a game, passing yards, oh, that's per attempt. Where is yards a game? Oh, it's right here. It's going to be Herbert with about 262 a game. Your leading rusher, I'm not going to do the average rushing yards a game. It's obviously probably going to be Derrick Henry. Most attempts, however, was Saquon. Derrick Henry led with yardage. Most touchdowns would be Derrick Henry with Crafty, Mixon, Elliott, Kamara, and Robinson behind them. Receiving would be Julio Jones by 2 receptions. And him and Stephon Diggs would have tied for receiving yards. Most receiving touchdowns looks like it would be DeAndre Hopkins, Tyler Boyd, Quintez Cephas with 14, Stephon Diggs with 13. Defense, your league leader would be Deontay Hightower. If your solos overall, he's probably going to win it too, and he did. Tackles for loss would go to Nick Bosa with 30. Most sacks would be Von Miller, 22. And you're telling me that team did not make playoffs when you had your best rusher and best defender have 22 sacks. Most picks would be from Tre'Davious White with Mackenzie Alexander and Sean Murphy Bunting and Tyrann Mathieu with 6. And most yards, just to give it, would be to Tre'Davious White would be the winner of that. So kind of shocking some teams didn't make it. We'll simulate 1 week. Just to show you guys who won, who lost. I'm not going to go over stats for those guys. So, Chargers upset the Titans as a 2. Buffalo moves on, and so do the Ravens. For the NFC, Carolina blows out Atlanta. Dallas beats the Buccaneers barely. Arizona beats Minnesota. You saw the scores, so I don't need to tell you really the scores, but that's who basically won. I plan during this as well, I'll plan on doing like an NBA 2K22 thing like this. I'll simulate one season with players on a new team. So, our next round, Kansas City beats the Chargers, move on. Buffalo and Baltimore with a close game. So, it was Kansas City and Buffalo with Seattle beating Arizona and Carolina beating the Cowboys. So, 1 and 2, 1 and 3 seed. Out for that prediction, I'm going to go with the Seahawks. They look like they had a really good year. That's one thing I should have checked. I'm going to go with Seahawks and Chiefs, who finished with the same record, basically. So that was your end of the year. So advanced week, we're going to sim to Pro Bowl, or not Pro Bowl. We don't care who made Pro Bowl. Obviously, it's going to be most likely the same people that make it every year, like the best players. So before we get into the bracket, oh, I guess it would have been Pro Bowl, my bad. But it is the Chiefs and Seahawks, both being about blowout games, so weren't even close. We're going to look at the yearly awards real quick. Herbert was named MVP with Henry being the number 2. To be honest, that is perfect for it. Coach of the year would be David Cooley. And then if we go to AFC, offense player year obviously would be Herbert. Player year would be Von Miller. Najee Harris would win Rookie of the Year. Zaven Collins would win Rookie of the Year for defense. Best QB would be Herbert. Running back would obviously be Henry. Diggs would be your wide receiver. Best offensive lineman would be the Chiefs. Trent Williams. Best D lineman would have been J.J. Watt. Best linebacker would have been Von Miller. Best DB would be Mackenzie Alexander. Best kicker, Justin. Yeah, I'm not going to say that. For the NFC, being Ryan Fitzpatrick. He had a really good year, it seemed like. Aaron Donald won Defense Player of the Year. Rookie of the Year would have been Mac Jones. That guy. And then, yeah. I'm not ready to try to say names yet today. So, once again, your matchup is Kansas City in Seattle. Let's just sit them to next week, see who wins. My guess is Seattle. Oh, I was wrong. I should have Kansas City just because of MVP. So, 42-32. Again, there's your standings for the year. And William Jackson III would get MVP over Justin Herbert or any of those guys. Interesting, to say the least. But anyways, guys, that's going to do it for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Like I said, I'm going to do 2K1 eventually like this. So I'm going to simulate a whole season of players on different teams as a fantasy draft. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I had fun actually doing it, seeing players on new teams, and I will see you in the next video.